r/AskMen. Blue Sugar says, men who got cheated on, what's your story? Tom Forder says, I had a long-term GF who I thought was loyal. She kept saying she loved me and everything. Even shared her location with me without asking. Then one day she told me she's pregnant. She was confused why I was upset. She didn't realize I was infertile. Dilly 49355 says, perhaps run a test? Maybe it's possible you aren't completely infertile. Tom Forder says, she confessed to the cheating shortly after. We never did a test, but I'm guessing the other guy did as she never bothered me again after that. Forward King says, dated for a few months. Everything was going great. Then randomly she kept saying she needed more time for work and that we hanged out too much. Meanwhile prior she was practically clingy. Surprised her one day at her place and caught her having sex with another man. Dilly 49355 says, so it turns out she surprised you. OK relationship 4353 says, surprise 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 surprise. Carcinog 3N says, we were married 14 years. She cheated once, I forgave her. She cheated again, I left her. Odd Simple 5931 says, at least your ex asked for forgiveness. My ex lied to my face and told her family and friends I cheated on her and gave her HSV. Amedia 6022 says, I'm sorry she didn't value your forgiveness the first time. Lesson, don't give the first forgiveness again. Rich Brabres says, when I wasn't paying attention, she added more houses and hotels than what she paid for. Dilly 49355 says, Monopoly joke. I like that. Best board game. SM1tism1t says, red flags. Definitely not a date says, she kept accusing me of cheating with her best friend, who already made it clear, even if we were both single, I had no chance. I get it, she hot. I'm not. Turns out my GF was having more late nights after work than we thought, and she was sleeping around. Summer 184 says, there's something about a person accusing you of cheating, turning out to be the actual cheater. Not sure why that's always the case. Odd Simple 5931 says, this is what I'm trying to figure out as well. For the life of me, I will never understand this tactic. My ex actually pulled that stunt on me when I confronted her about her standard status. She knew she was my first ever, and she kept gaslighting me saying I cheated on her and gave her an standard. Patataustland says, it was high school, so it really doesn't matter, but it's also pretty comical. Wanted to hang out with my GF. She said no, she was busy with family plans. Okay, cool. I'll just hang out with my buddy who lived a neighborhood up the hill from mine. Pulled out of my driveway, driving up my street, and her car is parked outside another boy's house. On the same street I lived on. You up? Lit media already frick says. Frick dude, that's awful. Boldjoy0050 says, even if it's in high school, this is the type of thing that leads to mistrust. Because of this I'm sure you were less trusting of other people. Donna Participles says, she said it was okay to be open emotionally around her and she wouldn't think any less of me. Turns out that was a lie. As crushing as her cheating was, she forgot that some of my family members would have a major problem with her cheating. She actually called my dad at one point, in the aftermath, to ask him if he could have my older sister stop exacting revenge on her. He simply said no and hung up. To this day, I don't know what form that revenge took. Nothing felonious for sure, but still. r/AskMen. And Dandan says, What is something meaningful your partner could do for you? My partner recently did something for me I wouldn't expect, so much so I started tearing up when I found out. Honestly, it's minor, but it meant a lot. She and I have been trying to game more, and she asked if I wanted to just Discord and play games together. I asked if she wanted to give World of Warcraft a try, as I just began playing again, and she knows it's important to me. As it turns out, she already had been. She'd been playing secretly in order to get good enough to play with me. The thought and effort that went into that was so touching, even for something as minor as playing a game together. Can you think of things that would be as important in your life? Overlay Addict X2 says, when your partner does stuff like this, it makes you really feel like you made the right choice. Just don't forget to reciprocate. Specialist Ena 90-67 says, sounds like you have a good one there, mate. Averagilanergeral says, that's it, I'm killing myself. Jiko says, wait for me, I've got the toaster. Freedom Fam says, encouragement of any pursuits. Appreciation for working a shit job. A compliment. A masculine says, you found a keeper, don't mess it up. Pepper says, I also play World of Warcraft. I've been farming Wintergrasp, WG, in Wattle Classic for honor. When DST, Daylight Savings Time, arrived a few days ago, I tried queuing for WG, only to find out that I couldn't. WG was every 3 hours. Due to DST, the timer should be off by 1 hour. Other players said it could be due to DST. I sent an instant message to my partner, who was asleep, complaining about this, then I fell asleep. When I woke up, my partner messaged me. It turned out that he woke up right after I sent the message and started checking WGQ every hour after that until I woke up, even when I didn't ask him for it. It was such a sweet gesture to make sure my character didn't miss any WGQs. He was so attentive to my smaller needs, while most people would probably consider these types of things unimportant. Mona Gibson says, well, as you mentioned above, it really is the small things. For example, her spending time to watch your favorite episodes of Top Gear, or memorizing your favorite songs, or even learning you enough to mimic you. Even the slightest effort feels meaningful. In my case, she's learning my native language and it's absolutely adorable. Limpet 5888 says, sorry, I just teared up a little. That's quite beautiful. For me, it would be just giving me a big hug after important things. I'm not talking doing dishes, but I finally fix a broken toilet, or I got a new car for us, or even a new job. Just any amount of affection and appreciation will melt me into a puddle. Spare Distance 6542 says, she said yes recently for all my weird fantasies. Emmet Fitz says, this just happened a couple days ago. We were riding in my car, she complained that her side of the window was fogging up. Then I could see her writing on it, then she giggled. Then she went on talking to me. I didn't look until the next morning, but she wrote I love you in big letters with a heart at the bottom. She's very stoic and rarely says I love you. I haven't cleaned my windshield yet, don't plan on cleaning it anytime soon. P666 says, I can't think of anything she hasn't already done. Thessapliguhai1 says, bring me a cup of coffee once in a while. Or rub my feet. I would love a foot rub. Reassess and Pieces says, trying to do this with TCG games for mine but I'm struggling. Or Steramunch says, can you think of things that would be as important in your life? I'm going to be honest. I can't think of much. My experience is people tend to do things for themselves and give less than a frick about what I want or need. It's not that they don't exist so much as I would, rightly, assume it was selfish and not for me. Yes, I need therapy. Yes, I will get there when I can afford it. r/AskMen. Nightmare 560 says, what's the weirdest/creepiest first message a woman has sent you on a dating app? We got tons of stories about messages women got from guys, but what about the other way around? Like on Bumble where they got a message first, or the rare AF times they do on Tinder? I'll go first. I had a Bumble match ask me what's my pain tolerance. Instantly unmatched. Wolfhard Kane says, I never really got any downright creepy messages. Most were just boring. The worst exchange went something like, her first message, are you, frick, I normal? Me, well, my therapist says that I'm highly functioning as long as I'm on my meds. WTF. The app says we are 90% compatible, but this can't be right. Why do I only attract weirdos? Me, maybe because only one of us is taking their meds? She unmatched me after that. Nightmare 560 says, showed this to my coworker and she broke out laughing. Says dodged a bullet right there. Rainbow Tickler, Nana says, I wish I hadn't deleted that chat, but it was something along the lines of damn, you're a cute white boy. I'm not usually into white guys, but I want your white in my brown. Yes, she actually used those images. A basic how are you doing? World be nice. WBRD says, one asked me what Harry Potter house I was in, so I took the quiz and gave her the results. I said something to the effect of our duels would be legendary, and instead of playing along she insisted that she would beat me. I didn't know what to do with that. Master Teacher 123 says, I know where you live. Impressive Floor 700 says, I want to peg you hard. WTF, instant unmatch. Huang says, the very few that I've gotten were just bland, honestly. Oh wait, one asked me what kind of engineering she should major in. Boson Dasalendk says, didn't get any weird first messages, to my recollection, but I did get a first photo once. It was a nude of her with her vagina prominent. That was interesting. As Captain 777 says, hi. Financials Throwaway 2 says, impregnate me. Continental Self-Develop says, does several of the same occurrence count? I can't recall the number of times I've gotten something along the lines of, your arms are so big, I'd love to be choked by them. Like it's the reason I trained forearms so much, but damn wasn't expecting them to jump right into sexual messages. Smackaroni Enchi says, not on a dating app, but one messaged me on Facebook asking me to go camping with her in a different state. I'd had no previous contact with her, other than us both being members of an outdoors group for our state. Gabbit Denbase says, what do you think about the fact that Adrien Quatennens was accepted back into his party? For context, he beat his wife several times, but, before it made the news, he was a favorite for running as presidential candidate to represent his leftist party. Her bio said, I'm not misandric. One of my friends is a man. I thought it was funny, which is why I right swiped, but actually she was just toxic. Chalk James 43 says, is it weird that you look like my brother? Ozova 619 says, didn't happen to me, but a buddy of mine. He showed me a message where a girl just trauma dumped on him going from rape to addiction. Such temporary 9597 says, hey, here's my OnlyFans link. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.